Welcome back to our Milwaukee Brewers Out of the Park 24 sim. Just a little short-term sim I'm doing here as my first test sim in Out of the Park. We've already gone through the first season. That was in the last episode. You can see here we won 97 games. We won the NL Central. We then beat the Cards 2-1 in the wild card round, but then fell in the NLDS to the Dodgers 3-1. So now we enter the offseason where, I guess we're going to try to improve the team to get us over the hump next season, get the Brewers a World Series ring. I think the biggest decision that we're going to face in this offseason, let's go to the contracts page. I got it, is what to do with Woodruff and Burns. So they're both entering the final year of team control in 2024. At ages 29 and 30, I don't really intend to sign both long term. I think if I were playing this sim out, I would probably sign one of them, and that's going to be my plan here. What I'm saying is I don't plan to play this sim till the end of what their contracts would be if I were to re-sign them, but I still kind of plan to play it as if I would. I think in previous versions, I think over the last couple versions of Out of the Park, I've kind of softened on signing pitchers in Burns' age range to a 5, 6 year, 7 year deal. I don't love the idea, but I'll do it occasionally. Whereas before it was kind of a hard and fast rule I wouldn't. But so the question becomes, do I want to risk losing one or both next offseason for nothing, or shop one around this offseason? So Burns is about a year and a half younger, and he's coming off a much better season. You can see Woodruff here. He put up a 1.9 WAR, 3.3 R WAR. ERA plus was 104. FIP minus was 107. Not a bad season, but not like a Brandon Woodruff season. Not what he did in real life in 5.1 WAR in 2021. 2022, he put up 3.6 in 27 starts. So in 34 starts this year, he put up just the 1.9. But Corbin Burns, on the other hand, had a really nice season for us. 4.8 WAR, 4.9 R WAR. ERA was 23% better than league average at 123 ERA plus. FIP, FIP minus of 80. Just a really good season for him. I think another thing against Woodruff is that he's a fly ball pitcher, which that's really tough to overcome in Out of the Park at a homer-friendly park like American Family Field, whatever the absurd name is now. So I think if I were to guess what's going to unfold here, I think we're probably going to trade Woodruff. Seems kind of fun to trade one of them, keep the other. He seems like the guy to keep to me if I'm going to try to keep one of them. Now Burns, not currently open to discussing a long-term deal. I could always try to get him to. I could always throw something out there, but at this time, not open to it. I think his arbitration estimate is around $21 million. He's asking for 24. We'll see what happens. I would like to sign him to a long-term deal, but just so hesitant to sign pitchers of his age to a long-term deal. And Woodruff, on the other hand, is a cheaper deal, but again, he's a year and a half older, fly ball pitcher, coming off a worse season. I don't think he's going to be on a roster if I would had to guess for next season. No, I'm not going to just trade him just to trade him. I'd rather lose him for nothing next offseason than trade him for a disappointing return, because at least that way next season I would still have Brandon Woodruff on the team, right? So that year of Woodruff, even if we lost him next season, it's not worth nothing, and it's not worth I guess getting back a return for less than he's worth. But let's go to the rest of the team. Lineups-wise, you could see here. I'll just go to the right-handed. So all the free agents, all the guys who are going to be free agents are still here. So just kind of go down the starters here. I think the infield will probably return as is. Contreras had a great season. Rowdy has one more year of team control and had a great season. Bryce Turing, a disappointing season from him offensively, and eventually lost the starting job. Or not eventually. He did at one point lose the starting job and then came back, but just a 76 WRC plus and a really good defensively. Still managed 1.5 WAR. So almost, despite this bat being 24% worse than league average, he was still almost a league average player according to WAR. And if he had played 140 games, he probably would have reached that 2 WAR mark. So his glove is really good. And at 23, he'll be 24 this month. Happy birthday, Bryce, coming up on November 21st, and we're at November 8th. You hope that bat can just take a step forward, that just, be, give me like a 90, 95 WRC plus. We'll take it with that glove. That'll be a really good player. Urias is coming off a really good season. He'll be back. Adames will be back. I've actually already signed him to a 1-year deal to avoid arbitration, $12.5 million. This is his last year of team control. I would have liked to assign him to a long-term deal, but he was just wanting, I think it was like a 5. I think when we went back and forth on some negotiation, I think it was like a 5-year deal, and the free agent years were between like 18 and 20 million, I think. Just a little more than I wanted to give to a guy's 28. The 65 range, but OSA thinks he has the 70. But, I mean, he had a really, really good season. Fly ball hitter, extreme pull. You like that in this ballpark. Zone rating, though, was just the 0.2. And given the 65 range that my scout sees, and the zone rating is not really a top, not really top of the pack here. I hesitate to sign him to a long-term deal because I think we can spend our money more efficiently at shortstop by getting a stronger defensive player for cheaper, I guess is the best way that I could put that. But we'll see. Maybe he'll bounce back and have a great defensive year. We'll sign him to a long-term deal, and all sides will live happily ever after. Christian Yelich will be back in left field. The rest of this is kind of a mess. Well, I shouldn't say right field. I think will be Brian Anderson back. He ended up getting pushed out of the starting job. Of course, I wasn't deciding the lineups. I would have still found a way to have his bat in there. Or did he get injured? Was it an injury? Yeah, he was out for 3 weeks. Okay, so maybe that's what it was, and then maybe didn't get his starting job back. But anyways, he was solid in 115 games, 385 plate appearances. He put up the 112 WRC plus, 2.1 WAR, and he wanted a very reasonable deal. I think it's 2 years, $7 million total. So not even a raise, or maybe it was $7.5 million. So he's going to be coming back for like $3.5, $4 million. And at 30, I was comfortable with the 2-year deal. I was trying to get him to a 1-year. He was not having it. But I'm totally comfortable with that deal. I don't think it's a bad deal, even if he trails off. But with some of the other turnover here, center field, DH, and some of the bench spots, wanted that stability in right field because Enrique's out. Bubba Thompson is just not the answer. Jesse Winker is out as a free agent. Rosario is a free agent. Duvall is a free agent. I think Garrett Mitchell will be back and hopefully can bounce back because I think he's a player that, we have some hopes for being at least like a decent major league player, but he was not that last year with his negative .4 WAR and 56 WRC plus. So that's how. So I guess the main needs here are center field and DH. So if you can, probably doesn't take too much thinking to figure out like if we're looking to shop Woodruff, we're going to be looking to bring in a center fielder for him probably. Pitching side of things, let's look at this. Corbin Burns will be back as our number 1 starter. Woodruff being out would leave a pretty big hole in our rotation. I think Freddie Peralta can pitch in this 2 or 3 spot in the rotation, but Turnbull, much more comfortable with him as a 4 or 5. He was so good for us when he came over, though. The 3.14 ERA, 3.68 FIP. I mean, he was just great. I don't know if we can count on him being that good again, but I think we'll have to bring in like a mid-rotation starter if we trade Woodruff to keep this rotation humming right along. Eric Lauer, I don't know, man. Like, he was bad. He's extreme fly ball. His arbitration estimate is like $6 million. He's just like 6.6. I don't see bringing him back. I just don't. I think the number 5 spot could be filled like a guy by Robert Gasser, who's one of our top pitching prospects. I think we could also. Is Ashby's back and healthy? Like, I wish they'd use him in the rotation. I should just force start him in the rotation. I'm not quite sure what Craig Counsell's issue is with Ashby. But I think we've got options out there, and we could also sign a number 5 starter. The rest of the bullpen, I think, is pretty stable. Like, Williams will be back. Adam Strzelecki will be back. Bush. Rodriguez, I think I'll sign, will be back. So I think the bullpen will be pretty stable from next year. I could always, if I've got some money left and there's a really good back of the bullpen arm out there, like, once it crosses over into preseason or preseason or spring training, when contract demands sometimes drop, I could see myself bringing in another arm, but I don't know that that's a need at this point. I think our bullpen is really good. Our bullpen last year, similar bullpen, it's the second best ERA in baseball or in the NL. So I'm pretty comfortable with the bullpen as it is, although, we'll always be open to upgrades, but center field and DH would be priority on hitting and kind of figuring out the number 2/3 spots, depending on, I think Peralta, you could call it 2. So figure out kind of like Peralta's a 2A and bring in a 2B starter and figure out who that guy is, and then figure out who's going to pitch in the number 5 spot in the rotation. Although I'd be pretty comfortable with that possibly being Gasser, but we'll see. So we'll get into the work here, and let's just go ahead and jump into the offseason and try to make these Brewers the best team in baseball next year. We are now on day 1 of free agency, Sunday, November 26, 2023. Brewers have some money to spend, as you can see, but before we get into who we might spend some of that money on, I'll update you on some of the big moves that we made. We have a new starting center fielder. His name is Cedric Mullins. We got him from the Baltimore Orioles. Said his bat, I think we're counting on a league average bat. 2021 said I don't think is coming back, but a 103 WRC plus in real life. 2022, 2023, a 92 WRC plus. But if he's a 3-WAR player playing Gold Glove caliber defense, even if it's not Gold Glove. Oh, by the way, I always mean to do this. Make that full screen so you don't see like the OBS running in the background. There we go. On some of my videos lately that have come out, I've been like, oh, oops, I forgot to expand that. So I remembered it here while filming. So, yeah, if Ced can play Gold Glove caliber defense and be around a league average bat, that's a really, really strong center fielder to have on your team. Guesses on who we gave up? Yeah, it was Brandon Woodruff. But it wasn't just Cedric Mullins coming our way. We also got DL Hall. Now, Hall has a torn UCL. He's out until like May or June. This control, I think just like real life DL Hall, it'll make or break him, right? Is he able to be a starter with this control? If he is, he's going to be great. But he also might just be kind of like a really good bullpen arm. But to be determined. Coming off the torn UCL, concerning, but I think elbow injuries are not the end of the world. If it was a shoulder injury, I probably would have been out on him. I don't think I would have gone for him. But we've got Hall, and we've got Hall for like 5 or 6 years of team control, which is a big part of this deal. And Cedric Mullins, we've got him for 2 years of team control. 1 year, $8 million in the second year of arbitration. He's got 1 more year of arbitration. And for, I meant to go to the history for Woodruff. He's on his last year of team control. He's a free agent after this contract. He's 30. He'll be 31 before opening day, and he was coming off a down year. And we were just we'll give up 1 year of Brandon Woodruff for 5 or 6 years of DL Hall, and Hall might not work out. He's not like a top. I don't think he's considered as top of a prospect anymore in this game as he is in real life. Now, I don't think he's prospect eligible anymore, but missing 13 to 14 months, he's still going to have, I think, a high ceiling, but with a lot more with more disclaimers than he has now in real life. So Mullins and Hall for Woodruff. We also gave up another starting pitching prospect, Ryan Middendorf, who for some reason they still have in their rookie ball complex. I assume they'll push him up at some point. He pitched in Double-A for me last year, and he was solid. He was fine enough in 70 innings. I think this is a guy who could probably pitch in the major leagues. I think he's got a future as a decent major league pitcher. So the Orioles get a certain, I guess, floor player there, not a high ceiling player, but a player with a decent, respectable floor. So Mullins is our center fielder. Pitching wise, we made a big trade here too to replace Woodruff. We brought in Lance McCullers Jr. Lance McCullers Jr. is coming off an absolutely atrocious year. I mean, I think he's a solid guy who can pitch towards the top of your rotation when he's on his game. Last year, he made 29 starts and pitched to a 6.41 ERA. FIP was 5.01, Sierra 4.2. So his peripherals, I guess, the underlying metrics were a bit better than his results, but still not dominant, not great. He gave up a lot of home runs compared to normal. But the BABIP at 344, I'm planning on that doing a lot of work, coming down and making McCullers into a serviceable, at least middle of the rotation arm for us. He's an extreme ground ball pitcher. He's high movement. He's got a dominant slider. I think this was a risk I was willing to take, especially because it seemed, based off of his performance last year, and I think his contract too, which he's got 3 years left at $17 million, we're paying 70% of that. So we're paying the majority of it. But we didn't really give up much for him. We gave up Eric Lauer, who is another guy. Oh, then they traded McCullers for Lauer and then non-tendered Lauer in arbitration. Oh, AI, what are you doing? Lauer, it's a guy, he had the step forward that he might, well, I won't editorialize on him in real life. But anyways, extreme fly ball pitcher just wasn't going to work for us. You saw it last year. He got 1.7 home runs per 9, 4.86 ERA, a FIP even higher than that. I think this is a decent back-end starter on a team where, with leadership, on a team where you're not in a homer-friendly park. But he wasn't going to work out for us. It's comical that the Astros then non-tendered him. Let's see, did they bring in Tyler Black as well? Okay, so Tyler Black, I think, is a decent prospect with some position versatility. He's 23. This guy could get to the major leagues. We have so many outfield prospects on this team, and I wasn't really enthused about him as an infielder. And we also have a lot of left-handed hitters on our team that he was completely expendable to us. We offered, I shopped Lauer. McCullers came up as a guy they were willing to trade him for, which makes it now just seem like they wanted to salary dump McCullers, which, hey, if McCullers has that kind of year in real life, and there are things that the Astros, reasons why the Astros think he isn't going to bounce back, yeah, I can see why they'd be looking to dump that salary. We think he's going to bounce back. My scout thinks he's going to bounce back. My whole analytics department think he's going to bounce back. But I guess I could squint and see maybe the Astros. I don't know. It's not that believable, but it's not totally absurd. You can see their reasons for doing it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So those are the big moves so far. Bringing in McCullers, bringing in Cedric Mullins. Dio Hall, I think that's a fairly big deal. We'll see how he's not going to be back until like maybe by the time he goes out on rehab, all that, we're talking probably late June. So hopefully he can come in and be a difference maker in the bullpen for us. Craig Counsell would have him as our lefty setup guy in the bullpen. So obviously really likes him. And I guess I might have buried the lead here. Aaron Ashby is now viewed as the starter by Craig Counsell. That's pretty cool. I think what we need now is we need a lefty reliever to go in here where Hall would normally slot. Comfortable with Williams and Adam coming back. These three guys here all performed well for us last night. I think there's some overachievement here, and maybe I was a little too eager to bring like Payamps back, but he pitched well. We're just not going to mess with it. So there are 14 pitchers here, so one of these guys won't make the team. Well, Hall will obviously go on the IL, so assuming we replace him with a back-end lefty guy, I think Brett Matthews, who's a guy I claimed off waivers from Colorado, just 25 years old, and seemed like decent minor league depth, and he's still got 2 option years left, so that's why I claimed him. I don't think he's like a difference maker at the major league level, but I think he's good depth to have in case of injuries, and I think the Brewers system at the top level was missing that kind of depth, or the depth was just kind of older guys who, if I add them to the 40-man, they're out of options, things like that. So Matthews comes in and gives us a solid pitcher in AAA if we have a couple injuries. So that means we have one pitcher spot, I guess, that we can go out and fill if we send down if we IL Hall and then send down Matthews. And then on the lineup side of things, let's just look at the depth chart this way versus right-handers. It's similar versus left-handers, other than the starters are the same, just Weimer and Anderson are in a platoon. I did bring back Brian Anderson. I think I mentioned this earlier. on a 2-year, $7.2 million deal, but the second year is a team option. We have a lot of outfield prospects who could be up, but I think this just gives us like a certain stability, certain floor of performance that we know we're going to get from Anderson, and also just pushes everybody down the depth chart one notch, which is I think an important thing to do, especially because you're going to have injuries, you're going to have underperformances, things like that. So you want a lot of options. Anderson is a good option for us in the outfield right now in the major leagues, but I think Anderson Weimer will split time in right field. I think the rest of these guys are all going to be here except for maybe Toro. Well, Toro will be here. I just don't see him as a starting DH. Contreras, Rowdy. We're going to give Bryce Turing another shot at the second base job. Urias, Adames, Yelich, Mullins. Backups right now, Weimer will probably be the fourth outfielder. Weimer/Anderson, right? And then Toro and Brousseau would be our other two bench bats other than our backup catcher. One thing I don't love about that is there's not like a good shortstop glove. I guess Turing could play shortstop in a pinch if Adames gets hurt. Urias can't really. I don't know that we have that in our system, so might go out and look for a guy who is a utility type guy who could play shortstop in a pinch. That would probably push Brousseau, who we're paying $2.35 million. It was good in limited time for us last year, to the minor leagues, which again, depth isn't a bad thing, and we have the financial flexibility to pay him that money. So we need a DH. I guess all that to say, need a DH, need a left-handed reliever in the back end of the bullpen. Who are those guys going to be? I'm not totally sure yet, to be certain. I took a quick look at the free agents so far. Burnett is a guy who spent the majority of the season in A-ball and then some of the season in Double-A, and he wanted a minor league deal. I mean, OSA is not all that low on him. I mean, elite stuff and an elite slider, and he's extreme ground ball. So I got this guy. I don't really, entirely understand why he was just seeking a minor league deal, or why he I guess like why he wasn't utilized more last year where he was in Toronto. But hey, we'll add him to our team. He'll be in AAA for us, and I think could end up on the major league roster for us. But I don't want to rely on him to be my back end lefty. So just to see kind of what's out there, let's just look at all relievers. So you can hear some child talking upstairs. I am in my house. Andrew Chafin, I think, is a good option at $5.5 million. Now it's going to come down to like how many years these guys want. 1-year deal. That's appealing. I think he could be a primary target for us. Matt Moore is a lefty reliever who, man, 1 WAR, negative 1.9 R WAR last year. But this type of movement and not being a fly ball pitcher, that's appealing as well. He also wants just a 1-year deal. Drew Pomeranz is out here. He was in San Diego and New York last year. Interesting. And he just wants a 1-year deal. So all three of those guys who only want 1-year deals, those are kind of the top 3 lefties out here, I think. There's our guy Burnett. But then it just kind of drops off after that. I mean, we could always consider Sean Doolittle, I suppose, but as a fly ball pitcher, no thanks. So I think we'll probably try to bring in one of those guys as the lefty. Batters, it's always complicated because I might not control the lineups again. So like, where's our guy Craig Counsell going to hit these guys, right? Is he going to actually put the guy that I bring in to be DH at the DH slot? And I'm just doing this so I can like see demand. Like, I mean, Michael Brantley, he's a lefty, and I'd really much rather a righty bat because I have Rowdy, Turing, Mullins, and Yelich already, 4 lefties already as everyday players. I don't know that I want to add a 5th. And actually, Weimer is a lefty too, so he's in a platoon. So he's a righty. I'm sorry, Weimer's a righty, but in a platoon. So that's the main drawback on Brantley, I think. Matt Chapman wants $25 million and also is not a DH. He's a very good fielder. So I don't know. Yeah, this will take. I could also look at the trade market, see if anybody's out there. But Nelson Cruz, I'm not seeing him here. But like a Hunter Renfroe guy, he wants $20 million though. Oh, he would be a decent. Does he actually want $20 million? Oh, he's not going to play for me anyways. And he rejected a qualifying offer. Okay. But Justin Turner could be maybe an interesting. He had a league average bat in Boston. I don't love ground ball hitters, but he wants a 4-year deal. Maybe that could drop off. But kind of like a solid veteran bat, I think, is what I would go for here. Josh Bell had an okay season in Cleveland, about league average. He's a switch hitter. Wants a 3-year deal. So I think it'll be more, there's a pool of players here that are all kind of probably similar. I'm always a sucker for C.J. Cron. He did not do too well last year. He was a little below league average. Matt Carpenter. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to dig around here. Honestly, like trade might be the best scenario. Jeimer Candelario was dynamite for the Nats and then just was terrible for the Dodgers. Oh, with a 103 BABIP. So him on a 1-year deal, coming off a year where he would be an interesting ad, I think. And he would be a DH. He might be a little redundant with the other infielders I have that are limited with the glove, like Toro, but I could see Candelario possibly being a DH candidate. I wish he had a little bit of defensive ability because I don't even really want him playing third base. But anyways, I'll get into all that. I'll let you know how I do, how the team does. I did want to update you on the awards from the year so you can kind of get a quick scan for around the league what happened. Let's see. Oh, I did cancel expansion, by the way. I just didn't feel like dealing with it right now. Gold gloves. No huge surprises here, I don't think. Stephen Kwan gets his gold glove. NL gold glove. No Brewers got one. Matt Carpenter got the first base gold glove. AL reliever, former Oriole, Jorge Lopez, followed by current Oriole, Felix Bautista. The Twins must have a good bullpen with 3 guys getting votes there for reliever of the year. NL reliever of the year. Devin Williams did finish, 5th, but Taylor Rogers got the award. Platinum stick, Silver Slugger, Christian Arroyo taking it home for second base. That's fun. And then the rest is pretty expected. Judge, Trout, Ohtani, Jordan. NL, no Brewers, I don't think. Yeah, no Brewers. 97-win team, and nobody's getting recognition on this team. Lars Nootbaar, that's pretty fun. Michael Harris putting up 7.8 WAR is incredible. I think the real story here is Warming Bernabel, who I didn't know who he was, so I looked him up. I think he's like Fangraphs doesn't even have him in the top, like ranked as a top Rockies prospect. Perhaps some of you know him more than me, but I was surprised to see him come in as a rookie, win the Silver Slugger for DH, putting up a 136 WRC plus 2.9 WAR. He also stole 19 bases while going yard 21 times. 524 slug. Pretty good season. So that was a fun little pop-up surprise. AL Rookie of the Year, of course. Who else? Gunnar Henderson. Yoshida got second. Kyle Stowers, who the Orioles in real life optioned in early April to Norfolk. And at the time I'm recording this, we're still in like mid-April. I'm not sure when this video will go up. But so he's in Norfolk in real life. He won finished third in Rookie of the Year voting here. So the AL East really dominating the Rookie of the Year. Gunnar, for all you Gunnar fans at home, like me, a 124 WRC plus and 4.8 WAR. Bernabel won the NL Rookie of the Year. I was distracted here by Matt Mervis. That's nice. Corbin Carroll put up 4.1 WAR. Nice job, Corbin. Dusty Baker in Houston. Shout out to Dusty Baker. I wonder what terrible hitter he hit second that whole year, since that's kind of like what he likes to do. Craig Counsell, Brewers manager, winning manager of the year. AL Cy Young, Rodon and Cole were the top 2, so the Yankees looking strong there. No other big surprises on names there. NL went to Scherzer. Senga was second. We got Corbin Burns getting 59 second place votes for your Brewers. Then no surprise here with Trout putting up 9 WAR that he was the unanimous pick for AL MVP. Rutschman is on the board. Joey Gallo getting 30 second place votes. Ramon Urias, 13 second place votes. And then on the NL side of things, Freddie Freeman getting 23 first place votes, taking it home over Michael Harris. Did any Brewers? Willie Adames, 34 votes. Rowdy with 33 second place votes. Cool. All right, so now I'll dig into the offseason. I'll go... Oh, is this Josh Hader that was dealt? Oh, wow. Marcelo Meyer was dealt. So for Josh Hader. So there's a top 100 prospect out. When's he a free agent? He got him for 2 years. Yeah, okay. That's an interesting trade by Boston. I had that trade settings thing come out, and I did this sim started before I did that trade test sim, but I updated it once I ran those test sims on the trading, and not many top 100 prospects like Mayer were traded anymore. So that's interesting. I would have given up Devin Williams for him if I knew they were shopping him. But anyways, all right, I'll dig into the offseason, and then we'll see what the Brewers are shaping up to look like for the 2024 MLB season.
We're now up to spring training, February 29th, 2024. Didn't make a lot of any big moves after the McCullers and Mullins deals, but did make several minor moves that we'll catch you up on here. And in November, we did sign Cedric Mullins to a 4-year, $47 million extension. A little low, I'd say, based off of what extension he'll get in real life if he gets one from the O's. $11 million bought out his final year of arbitration, and then 3 free agent years at $12 million apiece. So that's we've got 4 more years of Cedric Mullins in Milwaukee on what I think we can fairly call a very team-friendly deal. Then we go to December. We got Tucker Barnhart as our backup catcher. We signed David Aparicio. He was a young pitcher out there in the world. How did he enter? He came from Cuba at the end of last year, and we signed him to a $1.1 million deal. He's a pretty good pitcher. I think we've got a lot of veterans without options. He will start the year in AAA, but I think he's really good bullpen depth, and he's only 23. So we've got him. I took 2 guys in the Rule 5 draft, which I was not planning to do, but it just kind of happened, and they might not make my team. I think they probably will, but I just kind of took them, even though they didn't necessarily fit a need, and was like, I'll figure this out kind of thing. Maybe we'll have injuries in spring training. But, never hurts to make your organization deeper, and I think we did this. Dominic Canzone, he's a lefty bat, which again, I was saying earlier we didn't really need. He's not a great glove, but he was just dominant at AAA last year. His ratings look fine. Looks like a decent player, but dominant ratings in AAA. Now he was, 25, but a 147 WRC plus. I felt like he was a guy who was worth taking a risk on, or not a risk, worth taking a flyer on. And if it doesn't work out, we'll just send him back. But, we have a lot of outfield depth on this team. We have a lot of outfield prospects. We didn't necessarily need this guy, but I didn't want to pass up an opportunity to, add a potential major league player. So we'll see if he makes our team out of spring training. We'll see if he does make the team, how long he sticks around for. And then Jonathan Hernandez, a guy with this kind of movement and extreme ground ball who throws 100. In Milwaukee, the movement and extreme ground ball is really important. So I wanted to add him just to add another, bump everybody down the depth chart a notch here. And we'll add Hernandez. I think he'll probably make the team. We'll see. It could mean somebody gets DFA'd, but let's get into the team here just to show you what's going into spring training, what's going on, position battles, etc. I didn't get to the next what month are in here? December. Oh, sorry, I didn't finish out here. So then we signed Andrew Chafin to come in and pitch in our bullpen, a lefty in the bullpen. This was a 1-year deal for $5.7 million, so pretty low risk. We signed Jimmy Burnett, who was the young pitcher that I showed you. He ended up not wanting a minor league deal. Or he ended up not being willing to accept a minor league deal. So he'll start, I think, in the minors, but I would imagine, if he pitches anything like my scout thinks he's capable, he's going to be pretty good. But he pitched an A-ball last year and was just freaking dominant in 53 innings with a 2.35 ERA and a 45.4 strikeout to walk percentage. He only pitched 5 innings in Double-A, and his numbers were pretty good, but the results weren't great. So he'll start in AAA. We'll give him a little bit of taste of AAA ball and go from there. And we signed Devin Williams to avoid arbitration next year, where he signed to a $9.8 million deal. And then, did I skip? I did the wrong thing. I did the wrong thing here. Let's go back to February. DL Hall is going to be back sooner, by the way. It's looking like 8 to 9 weeks from like beginning of March. So he's going to be back like beginning of June, probably on a rehab assignment, which is sooner than we were expecting. It got bumped up like 2 months, I think. We did sign Elvis Andrus to a 1-year, $3.2 million deal because I wanted somebody who could play around the infield a bit. Struggled with the bat for sure, but he's a leader. He's a captain. He can play all three infield positions. I mean, he doesn't have third base experience, but he could play it if you need him to. Thought he was a good utility infielder. My manager thinks he should start at second base. And again, I'm not really taking the time to override that stuff. And then it's just so weird. So Contreras, who last year put up 3.1 WAR and a 127 WRC plus, was going to be the backup to Tucker Barnhart, who last year, now he put up 1.4 WAR because he's a better defensive catcher, but a 79 WRC plus, and was going to be the starter. So I did override that, and I am forced starting Contreras at catcher now, just because that's wild. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have Contreras on the bench. That's bonkers. Then let me just see. Oh, Bryce Turing as our DH. This is a guy who was a glove first second baseman, putting up 76 WRC plus. I have plenty of good bats around, but for some reason he's going to be the DH. I'm just going to let that fly. Andrus at second base. We'll see what happens when the season actually starts. But that's how the starting lineup's looking. I think that Weimer has the inside track for a job, even though he's not even really listed here, more against lefties. I think he's got the inside track for a job because he was good last year when he was up. Garrett Mitchell is going to have to prove something. I think he's probably likely destined for AAA. Same with Bubba Thompson. Abraham Toro might get squeezed out. He was solid last year, but he does have an option year remaining. So I think it's him versus Brousseau for kind of the last infield spot, the utility infield spot, since Turing is our DH and Andrus is at second base. But anyways, there's another infield spot on the team regardless of where they play. It's between Brousseau and Toro. And then where's my guy? My Rule 5 guy, they're looking at starting him against righties in right field. So he'll probably make it as an extra outfielder. Or, well, I guess as our right fielder / extra outfielder. So then Brian Anderson, I see him making the team, and Joey Weimer, like I said, making the team. So looking at, if you consider Canzone, the right fielder, we're looking at a bench of Barnhart, Brousseau, Anderson, Weimer, with Thompson going down. There'll be more guys in spring training, but this is 40-man roster. Thompson will go down. Mitchell will go down. Toro, I think, will go down. But anything can happen. Toro's a good player. I mean, it's good to have that good of depth down there, though. Rotation, I think these 5 are probably pretty set here unless we have an injury. Burns, McCullers, Peralta, Turnbull, Ashby. Gasser will probably be a Lang man. The bullpen, these 3 guys will be on the team pretty much no doubt. Aparicio, I think, will be optioned down because we have enough other arms. Bush and Hernandez will be on the team. Matthews will get optioned down. Payamps is kind of on the border here. I think he could get pushed out because we claimed Hernandez. Burnett will go down to the minors, as we already talked about. Chafin and Rodriguez will both be on the team. Hopefully they'll be excited enough about one of these 2 guys who are both pretty good lefty relievers to pitch them in something other than long relief. I think that will happen. Once Aparicio goes out, some of these other dudes go down, Gasser comes to the bullpen. I'm hoping that Craig Counsell's bullpen will make more sense at that time. But that's where the squad's at. Let's go ahead and I'll go through spring training here and update you on the opening day Brewers. We're now up to opening day, prediction time. Brewers, rough go of it in this prediction sim, 77 and 85. Really predicting our offense to struggle, just 638 runs. You can see how that stacks up pretty low here, not as bad as the Marlins and their 547. Our pitching staff with 670 runs against and a 3.97 ERA is looking really solid, but bad things predicted from our offense, I guess you could say. No hitters in the top hitters. Pitchers, we got Corbin Burns over here. The rest of the league, I guess the Padres at 75 and 87 is a surprise. Now, as a reminder, this is just based off of one sim, right? It's not like it's like 100 sims giving you the most likely outcome. It's just one. So they had a bad one in this sim, but still surprising to see. Mets and Braves in the East, in the NL East. Surprising here in the AL East. 81 wins could take it, more like the AL East. And then what's going on here in the Central? The Twins predicted to win. Tigers are bad. Here in the West, the Angels. Did they bring back Ohtani? They do have him back. They signed him to a 6-year, $207 million deal. Got it. Okay. They still have Trout and Ohtani, but predicted to win just 73 games. Astros and Mariners atop the division. No real surprises on my roster. The roster I said I was going to go with is what we went with. I'm surprised all these are if start or tired and not like, is that really what he's going to do? Wow. It's not really playing his bench guys a lot, which is like not what I like to do at all. I like to get my bench guys some playing time, rotate guys in and out. But we've got Canzone on the team. Now, Sal Frelick, who's an outfield prospect for us, as well as Chiriot, who is one of the top prospects in baseball, and Bubba Thompson. They were our three best hitters in spring, but I sent them all down. But if our offense is as bad as the prediction sim is thinking we might be, we're going to see some changes there quickly. I think Canzone's on a short leash. Turang in the DH spot is on a short leash. Weimer's on a short leash because we've got guys coming who can take those spots and maybe do something exciting. Yelich looks like he's a strong side platoon bat. He's just going to play against righties. So that's $26 million, right? Yeah, $26 million for a platoon bat. That's nice. Andrus at second base. Again, I don't love that, but I'm going to let Craig Counsell do his thing here. Pitching side of things is what I said it would be. I do wish that they were using Chafin for something other than a specialist. I wish that he was in a setup role, to be honest. I'd like a lefty righty. I like a lefty in the setup. Let me try that again. I like to have two setup guys, one lefty, one righty. But, such is life with Craig Counsell here. The rotation is what we thought it would be. I think this is a good rotation. Burns, McCullers, Peralta is a really solid top three. Spencer Turnbull was surprisingly good for us. And I think there's a next level here out of Aaron Ashby. Now that he's healthy, he's pitching in the rotation. Our farm system looking really strong. Second overall. Chiriot is fifth. This guy, Emezcua, he was my top international free agent signing. I signed him for $3.8 million bonus. I think I signed three guys. He was by far the top guy, though. Looking like a possibly great outfield bat with a bad glove. Jefferson Curo is looking like a super legit bat. We'll see if he can do a little better in AAA this year. He really struggled last year at both high A and double A, but 30th best prospect in baseball. Sal Frelick looks like he's taken a step forward here, according to my scout. Stuff has gone up over time here. You can see he took a big step forward in August, continued to improve in March, and he was one of our best hitters in spring. I think he's probably better than most hitters on my team, but we're going to try out the guys that we have now, and he's probably going to be an early season call-up if anybody struggles or anybody gets hurt. Batonti is the 18th overall pick in the draft last year. He is starting in rookie ball despite performing well there last year. And then we've got Rodriguez, Gasser. So that's the minor league system, the second best in baseball that has 6 top 100 prospects and 3 top 30 prospects. So we'll take it. And that's the Brewers team. This is what we're going to go into the season with. And we've got some money to spend if we need it. Our fans are excited, as you can see with the increase in season tickets. Our owner only expects us to play about 500 ball, but I think we're going to do better than that. I'm looking to defend our NL Central crown and take us back to the postseason and maybe have better luck this time. But we will wrap this episode there, and the next episode I think will probably be the final in this series. I'm thinking it'll probably be a 3-episode series, but the next one will hop into the 2024 season to see how the team's doing. But these are your 2024 Milwaukee Brewers, the defending NL Central crown, or defending NL Central champs, trying to do the thing again. We'll talk to you in the next episode. Thank you for watching.